Okay, so first thing, it says when adding other levels or floors to a house model, be sure to turn on the blank of the floor above or below to line up the outside wall. So here's the deal. We're basically building a layer cake. Alright? So you have a floor, your walls are going to sit on top of it, then we're going to put another floor, then we're going to put another set of walls. Okay? On top of the walls, the roof is going to sit. And that's basically how it works. Alright? There are other methods of framing. Conventionally, like if you were to go back and look at some things that, like, you know, we have done as human beings in this country in the past, there are other ways to do it. There was a method of framing that we used for a long time called balloon framing. That kind of goes against this. Alright, this is illegal now. You can't balloon frame anymore. Alright, balloon framing, like they had one piece of wood that went all the way from the ground floor all the way up to the top floor, all the way up to the second floor. Alright, one of the issues that happened when there was fires on the first floor, there was a little air cavity that kind of went up around the outside of the floor joist on the second floor, and fires would spread really fast from the first floor up to the second floor. So that wasn't really such a great way to go. Alright, now we use, I called it like a layer cake, but it's platform framing. Okay, so now we use platform framing. So platform framing is a little bit different, but it's kind of what I just described. You have a floor system, you have a set of walls that sits on top of it, you have another floor system, another set of walls, and then the roof sits on top. So that's called platform framing. Okay? In Revit, what we were just talking about was, you know, building up that layer cake. And we have layers or levels that we use to do that. Okay, so if we want to start working on the second floor, it's really easy. We're just going to go up to the second floor. So you can double click on second floor as an elevation, or you can click on it in your project browser. Okay, and you should by default see your first floor underneath where you're going to start drawing next. Okay, so I'm looking around real quick. I all of a sudden had people get confused. All right, so we'll go through that one more time. So if I'm looking at things in 3D, you guys may have like these levels that exist out here. You can double click on the little datum symbol next to second floor, and it's going to take you to the second floor view. So do that right now. Or in your project browser, you can go down to second floor, and you can double click on the piece of text for second floor. But I want you to be looking at that second floor level real quick. Alright, we good on that? Okay. Couple things. When you're on your second floor plan, you should see your entire first floor underneath the view. Alright, so we go all the way back to, like in Classroom, we go all the way back to like the very beginning of the year. We had this little worksheet here on underlay. Remember this one? Right? It said which view, A or B, that was weird. Which view, A or B, has the underlay turned on? And everybody yelled at me, B does, because you can see the level underneath. Alright? In this instance, this is where underlay is really something that you actually need. Okay? So, if you're on the second floor plan view, you want to see what's underneath so that you can trace it. Alright? I want to be able to trace the walls, or I want to be able to know where the floor is. I want to know where my staircase is going to line up from the first floor to the second floor. So over here in my view properties for the floor plan that I'm in, I'm on the second floor plan. I scroll all the way down till I see underlay. It says range base level. Right now it should say first floor. Okay? You can change that if you want. But first floor is appropriate. Okay? Some people aren't seeing what I'm seeing, and that's because you're just not in the properties for the view. Okay, so one thing, listen, if I'm drawing like doors, I get the property for doors. If I'm drawing walls, I get the property for walls. If I have nothing selected, I'm just sitting here on second floor floor plan view with nothing selected. So I press escape a couple times, or I click that little modify tool. Now I'm seeing the properties for the floor plan that I'm in. So that's what I want to be looking at. So I'm just looking at the floor plan properties right here, and I can check my underlay, and right now it should say first floor. Some other things that I see though, quite a few of you actually have first floor walls that kind of match up with like that convention we just talked about that we don't do anymore, where the walls are going all the way up to the second floor. Right? Like your walls are really, really tall. How many people have that? Raise your hand. A lot of people, right? So now if I look at my second floor floor plans, all of a sudden those walls aren't sitting underneath. They're like kind of going up through the view. And that's not a situation we really want. Okay? So here, do this with me really quick. Just go back to 3D. Just go back to 3D real quick. Alright, and then do this. Check this out. Ready? You're going to drag a big box over top of everything in your project. Just highlight everything. Okay? With everything selected, you have a tool that lets you filter out the stuff that you can work with over the stuff that's selected. It's your filter tool. So all the way down here in the very bottom right-hand corner, it looks like a funnel. Alright, you can click on this little funnel right now. It's a funnel with a number next to it. Alright, and that's going to let you filter out stuff that you want here. So I want just my walls. So I'm going to unclick levels. I'm going to unclick floors. People probably have doors in there. You probably have other stuff. Just unclick that and just click walls. Alright, and if you select only your walls, you can change the properties of your walls so that they go from the base constraint of first floor up to the top constraint for the second floor. Alright, and that's going to kind of change that whole situation for you. I'll do that one more time. You can even pop it up on your screen so you can see it a little bit better real quick. Pop this up on your screen so you guys can see it a little bit better. Alright, so check it out. If you highlight everything, so I'm dragging a big box over top of my building. My filter's right down here. Filter tool, you can hit check none, and then you can just pick walls. Alright, or you can manually deselect objects. You hit apply and OK. Now just your walls are selected, interior and exterior, so there's two different types. That's okay. But the base constraint, the walls are tied. Base constraint first floor, they're tied down to this first floor level. Top constraint, we want to switch that over so it goes up to second floor. Alright, this is a really, really, really practical tool. So now every one of my walls goes from the first floor up to the second floor. And the advantage here is, like, let's say later on down the road you actually want to add a little bit of height to your, your ceilings on your first floor and maybe your second floor, so you can raise that up. Right? So your entire second floor gets jacked up and your roof level gets jacked up and your walls stay associated with it. That's important. Alright? So use those constraints to your advantage. Walls should go from first floor up to second floor. Alright? I'll give you a couple seconds to set that up. All right,
Mr. Kapler,
Hey, what's up, Brian?
the screen isn't showing the
Demo?
presentation.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. How's that?
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, next up, let's take a look at stairs. Stairs are really important. We're talking about second floor stuff, but we don't have access to the second floor. And when we place the second floor in there, we're going to want to leave a hole or an opening for the staircase so that we can actually get from one level to another. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to go to our first floor plans for a second. We'll go back to the first floor plans. And we're going to start to think about how we're going to get from the first floor up to the second floor. Okay? And that's going to be via staircase. Alright, so you have a tool up in your architecture tab. It's under the circulation panel. This contains railings, ramps, and stairs. Alright, just find that really quick. I'm hovering on it up on my screen up top there. Okay? And if you click on the stair tool, go ahead and do that with me. I'm on my first floor plans. I clicked on the stair tool. We'll do that one more time. First floor plans, stairs. You go right into a mode where you're creating staircases. Alright, there's a bunch of different ways to make staircases. On the worksheet it says label and describe what the following stair component tools are used for. I'm going to go through a couple of them, but I just want you guys to try these. So the first one is a straight set of stairs. This is like the easiest staircase you can possibly make. Alright? It says creates a stair run by specifying a start point and an end point. We'll talk a little bit about stair terminology here in like a second. Okay? Go ahead and click on that one time even though it's already selected. And then all I want you to do is we'll just kind of go out here in like the space. We'll go out in the backyard. Alright, just go ahead and click like one time someplace and start to move your cursor around on the screen and see what happens. Alright, you're drawing a staircase from the top. You've selected the base point, which is at the center of the staircase at the bottom of the landing. Alright, and then as you stretch out your cursor on the screen, you're telling the computer how many risers you want to put in. I'll talk about what risers are in a second. Okay? But what you want to do is you want to set this up so that you have 16 risers made and none remaining. 16 risers is the math the computer's automatically doing that's going to get you from level 1 up to level 2. So you're traveling up and over across the distance from the level 1 to level 2, which is 9 feet. Okay, but you should see that number for remaining end up at 0. If you had a different dimension there between level 1 and level 2, like maybe it was 10 feet, that would probably be 18 risers and take you a little more distance to travel to get up a higher height. Okay, but go ahead and click a second time at the very top of the stairs. Alright, and as soon as you're done, and it doesn't matter like which direction you go, as soon as you're done, hit that little green check mark at the top of the screen, and then just go back to 3D and take a look at the staircase that you built. Alright, look at it in 3D. I'm going to specifically take a look at it from the side here, because I want you guys to see where you start from an elevation perspective and where you end. Alright, so the computer's taking us from the first floor up to the second floor. Alright, and there's a little bit of math that the computer's doing as it built that staircase for us. Okay? So the computer's taking us up and over. This is kind of like what we would call like slope almost, right? Rise and run. Ever hear that term before? Slope, rise and run? A little bit? Okay? However, with staircases, there's some very specific geometry that kind of has to go in place just based on the average size of human beings. Alright, so think about this really quick. You go to like a really old farmhouse. Anybody been in like a really old farmhouse ever before? What's the staircase like?
My staircases are really, the one going down to my basement's very steep, and the like stack of steps themselves are narrow.
Yeah, how's it feel going down there? Do you feel like you're real stable and you have you can carry boxes and stuff up and down?
You're gonna die.
Yeah. Anybody else have that experience ever before? Okay. So that's pretty common. Like for older buildings, a lot of times people didn't think about, and this is one thing, like kind of going back historically, people didn't think about when they were planning their houses how long a staircase is. Seems kind of silly, right? Like, well, why wouldn't you think about how long a staircase is? This staircase right here is 13 feet 9 inches. We're traveling up from 0 feet, 9 feet up above the ground. It's taking us almost 14 feet to get there. Okay? So this staircase is 7 inches of rise for 11 inches of tread. Okay? So when I said like risers, you were counting risers. Remember when you were building the staircase? Go back and look at it really quick. You go back and look at the staircase. Remember these lines here? It said you have 6 risers created, 10 remaining. Those things that we call risers, that's how much you're rising up. You're rising up 7 inches, maybe a little bit more, right? And then you're traveling 11 inches. So 11 inches, look at your foot. 11 inches, you have 11 inches of tread to stand on as you walk up the stair, and you only have to lift your foot 7 inches, 7 inches up. Alright? Think about like one of those, it's probably like a formal staircase, maybe at like a convention hall or something like that, or a museum. Anybody ever been on like a real formal place and there's like a huge wide staircase?
Yeah, Catholic book.
Okay? How high are the risers there? Probably 3 or 4 inches. And how big are the treads? Pretty big. And it's awkward walking up that too, right? So you have those two contrasting ideas of like what a staircase can be. You have like the old farmhouse, which is really, you're stepping, you gotta lift your leg up really high and you really don't have a big tread to stand on, versus that other place, maybe you're, dressed up kind of formally, maybe it's more of a picture spot, lots of people can fit on the staircase. All right, versus the staircase that we really want to put in our house that we're going to use every day. Okay? Running up and down the stairs, maybe skipping treads or something like that. Okay? Or even the staircases here. So a 7-inch rise and an 11-inch run. And the lingo that we're using here, all right, I used riser for this one board that's right here, and I used tread for the part that you stand on. Some other terminology that you might hear. All right? This board, this riser board, this you could call it a kicker. All right, it's the part that you kick with your foot. So you kick it. All right, a kicker or a riser, and this is a tread. There's a little lip over top of the edge of the riser. That one you would call like a nose. Okay? How about this piece of lumber that holds the entire staircase together? Anybody know what you call that thing? I have it selected up there. What's that one board that holds all the risers and treads together? All right, that's a stringer. So you have 2 stringers in place. Okay? And that's your staircase. So risers, treads, stringers. When you draw your staircase up, I'm going to delete mine really quick. I'm going to go back and make a new one. When you draw your staircase up, you're drawing it from the center line. All right? So you're drawing from the very bottom center to the top center. You can draw it differently, right? So like, let's try this really quick. We'll leave that one right where it's at. Let's put another staircase next to it. Click on the stair tool one more time. And check out your options bar here really quick. So as you go to draw that straight staircase, if you click on the location line option, by default it's set to center. But you could draw it from the left or you could draw it from the right. So just try that really quick. So if I draw it from the left side, you're drawing it from the left side of the staircase as you would walk up the stairs. All right? And you're drawing on the inside of the stringer. If I click on that button, I go to do it again, I could do exterior support, so that would be on the outside of the stringer. You switch that over to the right, it's just the mirror option. Okay? Some other stuff you can do, you can change the width of the staircase. Alright, so a wider staircase is going to be a little bit more expensive, but there are some advantages. Alright, if you think about the size of the furniture that you can fit up the stairs, or maybe carrying something up with other people, maybe two people using the staircase at the same time, somebody walking up at the same time, somebody can come down. Alright, it's like a little bit of a luxury. They can look really, really nice. Alright, so just a couple things there. Alright? Any issues with like a straight set of stairs? Let's see. Let's try this really quick. We'll look at some staircases. Alright, so straight stairs are pretty common. Probably second most common type of staircase would be like an L shape. Alright, so aside from like that landing down here, which you can use Revit to build a staircase just like that, actually pretty easy. Alright, in this instance we're going to walk up one run, we're going to hit a platform, and then we're going to walk up another run over here on the side. Okay, so these are two runs, and that's the next kind of big thing. So a straight set of stairs only has one run. You're clicking at the bottom and you're clicking at the top. Alright, here, for an L shape, you would click once. If you're doing stairs by center line, you would click once in the center. You'd go up to the top of the first run, where you're going to hit the platform. And then you're going to click again, like a third click, over here on the side, where your second run is going to start, and then you're going to click at the top. Yeah, go ahead. All right, so let's try to do an L shape real quick. All right, so one more time in Revit, this would be 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, 4 clicks, and then you can hit finish. All right, let's try that one really quick. So we'll make a new set of stairs. We're going to try to make an L shape. All right, I'm going to go ahead, and it doesn't really matter how many risers you put in. I'm going to put in like 4. And then I'm just going to kind of go over here on the side. We don't have to make this like super precise, but the third click's going to go over here, and the fourth click I'm going to put all the way up to the top. All right, you can select the run before you finish the staircase just to move it around with your arrow keys. Kind of fine tune it if you need to. If you hit that little green check mark, you got an L-shaped set of stairs. Anybody need help? You got the L shape in there? So 4 clicks. 4 clicks. So that was kind of tricky, like when you're drawing an L shape and you're using the center line. Alright, this is actually kind of like the perfect case for why we have those other options as far as drawing staircases. So check this out really quick. I'm just going to take over for a second. Alright, so here, check this out. When you're drawing your staircase, like when you're drawing your L-shaped staircase, it's tough to kind of locate this corner down here. Okay, I saw a lot of people do stuff like this, like you built your staircase kind of off in the wrong spot, and now all of a sudden you have this funky landing that doesn't really work. All right, this is pretty bad design. You know, so it's tough to locate that corner. All right, a lot of people did stuff like that. So if we click on that stair tool one more time, and I go back to my first floor plans, if I'm going to draw an L-shaped set of stairs and it's going to turn to the right, I probably want to draw my stairs from the right side. So if I go up a couple of stairs, we got to make sure we're going from the correct level to the correct level. Not sure why that changed. Anyway, let's go up a couple of stairs. We'll go up like 2 risers this time, and then we'll just start drawing from the same spot. It makes getting that corner a lot easier. Okay? So that's an L-shaped set of stairs. Go back to 3D and we'll take a look. There's a little bit of conflict on the railing, so we could fine-tune that. Next up, let's go over to just one other type. So we'll just kind of change that a little bit. We'll go to U-shaped. So U-shaped, this is like your staircase going up to math class. All right, you walk up a set of stairs. You walk up what we would call a run. 1 click at the bottom, 2nd click at the top. The platform automatically gets generated, so you basically just have to click a 3rd time to start your 2nd run, and then a 4th click to get up to the top of the stairs. So let's try that one too. So if you bounce back to your first floor plans, click on that stair tool. You can draw it either way, from the right side or from the center. I'm going to go here. I'm going to draw up. I'm going to go up 8. I'm going to turn, go over here, and draw up another 8. Okay, so again, 4 clicks. That's a U shape. So try that one next. Okay? Remember, the platform gets drawn automatically. Alright, so real quick, just a heads up, I'm going to be checking your staircases when you're done. I know we're just practicing, but I want to see the staircases that we're making. So I have 1 straight so far. I have 1 L shape so far. I have 1 U shape so far. Even if we don't finish this today, I'll probably just have you turn something in for tomorrow. So just a heads up, you have 1 straight set, 1 L shape, 1 U shape right now. Okay, so I'm going to have you grab a screenshot of this stuff when it's all finished. So make sure you're getting these staircases built, because I am still going to check them, okay? And just one more time on the terminology. You got the part that you kick, your kicker or riser. You got the tread, that's where your foot's going, that's what you stand on. You got a stringer on the side. The actual dimensions of the staircase. Right now, my true life riser height here that the computer's using, it's going to be 6 3/4 of an inch, which is effectively 7 inches. And then I got an 11-inch tread depth.
Just to finish it, you can start. Two runs is there, so it's 1, and then this platform gets made one time. It's not there.
Alright, it looks like you guys kind of have this under control, so let's keep on cruising. We'll try to get at least one more done. Alright, so let's go back here really quick. Let's take a look at it's going to be like a popular type of staircase, but in practicality, I would argue that it's not very functional. Alright, so a lot of times like these spiral staircases come into play, or at least like the smaller diameter spiral staircases come into play when, one more time, like people don't factor in the size of a real staircase. Alright, or you're trying to save space or conserve space, you know, traveling from one story to the next. Pretty dangerous, you know, for little kids and elderly people and things like that. Not necessarily something that's too compatible. All right. Although with maybe like a larger set of stairs, again, like it could be kind of a decorative type of element to a building too, and adds some aesthetics to it. So we'll take a look at like the two different types of staircase that we can make here. All right, that are spiral style. Go back to your first floor plans for a second. Alright, we'll just kind of park this set of stairs out here someplace in the backyard with the other ones. This will be the last staircase that we build for today, and then you guys can be done. So we'll click on that stair tool, and all the way at the very top, where we had been selecting straight up until this point. Now the next tool off to the right of it says full step spiral. Alright, and you can kind of watch a little video of how that works. It's going to say to click a center point along the first set of the run, and then it should be a point at the end of the run. Alright, so we'll try that one more time. So you can kind of follow the directions on the bottom of the screen too. It says click to enter spiral run center. As you hover your cursor out, you can start to see the staircase formed. There is a dimension here that, like, you know, effectively creates the staircase where it's too small and you can't generate it. So you do have to move your cursor far enough away from that center point until you're allowed to click. Alright, so like right here it goes from not being allowed to click, I have like the do not click button, to, yeah, go ahead and click right there. Alright, and the staircase effectively gets built kind of on its own. If you hit the little green check mark, that's going to generate the entire staircase. And that would be your spiral, full step spiral. There's really not much else you can do on that one other than customize the properties. So you can change the number of risers a little bit possibly, or something to that effect. Alright, but there's your spiral. And like I said, we'll just kind of cut that off right there for today. So try to get those 4 staircases built. When you're done, just save this up for today. So hit File, Save your project. If you have any questions about anything, I'm going to come around really quick. Alright, and then I also recorded that session, so it's going to go up on